Welcome, everyone. I'm Thor Gunderson, and it's time again for Just Asking for a Friend, the show where we go out into the collecting community. We talk to collectors and people throughout the industry, from content creators, sculptors, artists, everybody throughout the collecting hobby. And today we have a very special guest. This man's rise to power began on open mic. And after that, it grew, went to Sick Mansion Collectibles. And now you'll find him on every chat collection show there is. He classifies as a Sith Lord. However, he claims to be the Daywalker, which we will cover today. Vader's always had a little small problem with that, but that's okay. We have the one, the only, Darth Rasheed. Well,
oh, man.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. How are you feeling?
Of course, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I've seen you in a while too.
I know, man. It's just a bit of, new spot. I had life problem, life change, not problem. Well, I guess you could say, but changes and everything. But I'm making my comeback, bro. Making my comeback. I've been seeing you everywhere.
Yeah, you my inspiration, man.
Oh well, man. It's crazy. Every time I hear that, man, it's like me.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Your phone. When on DCX, it was always funny. I always like because the way your humor is. Some people, you got some people that try to be funny, and it's just not working.
I know exactly what you mean.
You got some people that just naturally you say some stuff like you remember when I was in California, and I'm like, Thor, lucky I got love for him, man. They shooting at me, man. I'm like, oh,
because that was so unexpected. You know what I mean? I was like, wait a minute, because we just thought you was just like, hold up.
And I was in SAC, and it was like that time. It's 3-hour difference, but I'm like, wow, I'm in the daytime, but usually it's at nighttime. I'm talking to these guys.
Yeah,
but your humor, man, your humor is real. It's authentic. So that's why it's like there's no fake. So that's why it's like I try to. Inspiration come from the humor that you do in your shows. I can't be you, and I understand that, but I want I want the show to be just as authentic as your show.
Well, I can tell you've gave it your own curve, because everybody I always say use what you got. Right. And the way you wrote, you funny too, man. And
right. I got my stuff from you guys, because you remember you the one. I tell everybody all the time. Thor's the one that brought me in. You know what I'm saying? And just like I said, any challenge that we have, I always say you still the king of the dark side. It doesn't matter all the time, because you're the one that I was ready to throw Star Wars away after a while, and then I was. Right, and then I started seeing all the stars you had behind you, and I saw the Nihilus, and I saw you telling Junior what pieces to get. I was like, dang, I want him to tell me what I need to get.
Hold on. Don't get into that too quick. We're gonna get to that.
All right.
So I like to start out with telling people like where you from and where you grew up, and like how you got into pop culture. What was your beginning?
Born and raised Jamaica, Queens. And I started basically my sister took me to see Star Wars 1977, and we sat at the front of the theater, and ever since then that's all my life been about, just sci-fi and everything else. That's all I cared about in high school and everything, but just Star Wars and comic books. How
old were you when you saw it?
4 years old.
Me too. Yeah, I saw Empire when I was 4.
And one time I argued with one of my coworkers because he was telling me, "How do you remember to see something when you're 4 years old? It's impossible." And I said,
remember it like yesterday.
I said, I remember sitting, because it wasn't it wasn't those seats that you could just order. Mm-hmm. Right. Whatever seats they had available, you had to deal with. So I went up there, and the only seats they had available was the front row seat. So I had to look up like this.
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never heard anybody say that. I mean, people remember their birthday. I can remember stuff from 2 years old. What I mean? I mean, that's just me. But that I would never ever forget the first time I saw Empire. Never. Right. I was 4 years old. So comics wise, before we get into Star Wars, like what drew you? I mean, obviously you're a big time Blade fan. We know you don't like Spider-Man. So
but I'm gonna answer this question. It's gonna make you bug out.
okay.
My mother was a teacher, so when she would go to class, the kids would either my first Star Wars action figure was from a kid that left it in a class. It was that robot that was in the Jawas, the silver one.
Okay,
I know that was my actual first one, and the paint was rubbed off on the elbows, and the silver was rubbed off. So what happened was my mother brought me a Spider-Man comic book.
Wow.
And they had no action figures. So what I used to do was I would cut Spider-Man out of the comic book and take a piece of cardboard and put it on top of it, and that would be my action figure, my Spider-Man action figure. So I played the Spider-Man action figure with the Star Wars toy.
See, that's the difference I'm seeing between people for like future generations. About like we had to be innovative to come up with stuff, because we ain't always had toys and all that stuff.
Right.
And but you're not an only child. You got a sister.
No, I got sisters. I got two sisters.
But to me, that's like an only child move, because you got to entertain yourself when I'm an only child.
Right.
But still, we had to do stuff like that back in the day, because you ain't always get the toys you wanted and everything, and then so from there, like what comic book wise, where did you go? Like
comic book wise, wow. I was 5 when I was buying I wasn't buying comics. My mom would give me comics. I had a cousin in North Carolina, and she was heavy into comic books. It was a female. She was heavy into comic books. So the X-Men, I always was fascinated with the X-Men, but I couldn't buy my own comic book. I didn't know where they sold the X-Men. So I was just fascinated with Nightcrawler at first. And then it was Colossus, and then I didn't know where to get the books from. So whatever my mom would find a book at school, that's what she would give me. And then down the line, the cartoon was on, the Spider-Man. Right. And then of course we watched Batman, the Adam West. And those were the only ones that was on TV until my cousin just started bringing me comic books and stuff like that. And actually, my first book that I actually bought, believe it or not, was For Your Eyes Only, James Bond. Remember they would make the movie adapted? Right. I was coming from Virginia, going back to New York. And we went to like one of those the truck stops. And don't ask me why I bought that book, but I bought For Your Eyes Only. It was by Marvel, and I bought the book. And I just kept reading until it ripped up.
I find that a lot of times people's first, a lot of people don't go to like when they get their first inkling of comics, either 7-Eleven or like you say, you get it at your truck stop and they just got some comic books there. And that's usually where it starts. So later on, were you into like the animated series? The X-Men?
Yeah, you talking about the X-Men that they have now?
I mean, like in the 90s series, like the animated,
Yeah. I actually jumped on that a little late because I felt like I didn't think that they were going to be able to follow the comic book or do things from the comic book. But then once I found out that they did, that's what I watch all the time. I rewatch the same episodes because the new comic books right now with the X-Men is trash to me. It's not authentic like compared to all the characters. Like to me, they took Storm, who was used. I mean, she's still a leader. But she was so much a leader figure in the X-Men that Chris Claremont made her get respected. You know what I'm saying? Like they made her be respected. Like what's the queen that played in Black Panther? What's my girl's name? Angela Bassett.
Right.
Chris Claremont wrote her as an Angela Bassett in the X-Men. So yeah.
It's they the 90s series, that made me, I was never, when I was reading Spider-Man and I didn't read X-Men too much, but when I saw that series, I got interested in X-Men, so I would buy some. And I totally agree with you as far as books now. I stopped buying books as a whole. Like I bought a few Darth Vader books and Star Wars books, but like as a whole, I stopped getting books about 7 years ago because all this turnaround, like, next, it'd be another number one. And I'm like, what are they doing? You know, and so I just got tired, man. I just stopped collecting. You know what I mean? And plus, books now are expensive. You mess around, spend $50 off of like 4 books.
A lot of people, but the thing is, a lot of people left comic books because it's just like the problem to me. Reason why comics are not good because you don't have people, in my opinion, don't have the passion for the characters. They only have passion to write scripts. So they don't care about you caring about the character. All they care about is if I write a good script, this could be the next movie. That's all they care about. They don't care about Nightcrawler's origin or Spider-Man or Miles or any of they just don't care about none of the characters. So that's why a lot of people have left, you know, because technically you're gonna, as a writer, in my opinion, you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna put my take in it, but what comic book writer inspired me? And if it was like a Chris Claremont or trying to figure out some other writers, let me see what I could do that something like him, because he's my, it's just like if you were an artist. Not saying that you're trying to be like Jim Lee, but I should see some inspiration that you know, and you don't see that in comic book writers. To me, they don't care about, they don't go back in the past and say what made Spider-Man good, what made X-Men good, what made Power Man and Iron Fist good. They don't care about that. It's just like, I'm here now and I'm just gonna write what I feel like writing, and that's that.
That's another thing that turned me off when especially with Marvel. I noticed this with Marvel, when the people in the books start looking like the people in the movies. Yeah, like that's when I was like, nah, I got you know, because the books write the movies don't write the books, right? You know what I mean? So I got tired of that. You know, and they just, to me, the books were just to remind you, oh yeah, go see these movies, and I was like, nah.
And man, believe it or not, DC books are actually now better than Marvel books.
I believe
they make more sense than Marvel's books.
I believe it.
You know,
I totally believe it.
Yeah.
So, Star Wars wise, what, you know, I always ask, you know, my Star Wars collection. What was, I think I know the answer, because pretty much, what was your favorite Star Wars movie?
Believe it or not.
Okay.
Would you believe I hated Empire Strikes Back?
Really?
As a kid, yes.
Okay.
And the reason why I hated Empire Strikes Back in the beginning, because I hated that I felt like they killed Han Solo when they put him in, because I said, how's he going to come out? How's he going to come out of that? I hated Boba Fett because Boba Fett did it to you know, Darth Vader chopped off Luke Skywalker's hand. So I left the theater because, remember, they didn't come out with the movie the next year.
Right.
It took them a couple of
3-4 years. Yeah.
Right. And that's what people understand. Now they'll do a movie and then they'll come out with the next movie maybe next 6 months. They didn't do that with Star Wars. So when I saw Star Wars, of course, I love Star Wars, but then Empire Strikes Back, I hated it but then when Return of the Jedi came out, that's when I loved Empire Strikes Back, you know. So, but if you ask me, I would say Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, you know, I heard a lot of folks when Empire came back didn't like when it came out. People was like, "What is this?" You know, but you know, and it's crazy. It's funny. He said he don't like Empire, but look behind him, everybody. So now it's like, you know,
yeah, man,
yeah. What'd you think about the prequels?
Oh man, terrible.
As a whole, just.
You're talking about the prequel? I'm sorry, the new one, like The Last Jedi.
No, Phantom Menace.
The prequel. Oh, the Phantom Menace. Now, I actually do like them. I think that the cartoon, the Clone Wars, fixed everything. Yeah. Because I think that was needed. So at first, when the Clone Wars came out, I thought it was going to be some kiddie. I was like, George Lucas is bugging out. You bring this kiddie stuff. I think around the third season, because I remember I asked you guys, and y'all was telling me about around like the second, third season. That's when it gets real. So when I watched the third season, this is when I was about to retire. The third season, I sat in my den every day and I watched the Clone Wars. I watched every episode all the way to the Rebels and even the Rebels. And I was like, Clone Wars is no joke. So now I don't look at the prequels as garbage anymore. Like I just you know, some of them are a little slow, but it shows you how sneaky Palpatine did his thing, and General Grievous, and they still had a picture, even though it was good that they showed a Yala Sakura in the prequels. You know what I'm saying? I think they could have, I don't know, maybe more story on Anakin than just the pod race, something else about him. I don't know. I just wanted to hear some more about him. But as a kid, as a kid, not as the teenager,
right?
But yeah, but other than that, I think Revenge of the Sith is one of my favorites.
That's my second favorite. That's my second favorite Star
Wars. Yeah, Revenge of the Sith was all on point. So to me, when I went and saw that movie, like what it is, when I saw the first two, I wasn't happy for it. But when I went to the movie theater and I saw Revenge of the Sith, I walked out of there like, I was like, damn, that's fucked up. I mean, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, damn, Anakin, got body burnt. You know what I'm saying? He got manipulated, and so
did all that for nothing.
Right.
The Attack of the Clones is, I would say, is my least favorite Star Wars movie.
I didn't like that one.
I like the part with Yoda and with Dooku and everything, and even the fight between Jango and Obi-Wan was cool. But as a whole, I just thought the movie was corny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seemed rushed. It seemed like they just did whatever. They depended too much on the green screen, and I think that when they did Revenge of the Sith, I think they said we got to show I think they channeled into Empire Strikes Back to see to go. They wanted to go dark. They said this is when he becomes Darth Vader. It has to be dark, and it was dark. So. And
I knew going in. See, I think it didn't. The first one, you got Darth Maul, so I was happy with that, Yeah. But as a whole, each one that passed by, I was like, okay. I was like, and I just said the last one. I just knew I said the last one gonna be on point because we're gonna see the actual process. And plus, you knew they had to get rid of. You knew at some point Yoda and the Emperor was gonna have to throw down, like the two, because they the cream of the crop. You knew that, and then they was going to deal with Dooku. And I ain't really care about them dealing. On the whole, I was never a big Grievous. Not in the movies. And they had a I don't know if you ever seen it. It was on Cartoon Network. It was these shorts.
I saw it.
He was nice.
Yeah, he was hunting them down.
Right. He was nice on it. But like to me, he never really translated really well to movie form. He was okay.
I mean, you know what it is? I like both of them. I think that in the movie, if they made him like a hunter, he would be like kind of like the main villain then.
I got you. Okay.
So they made him kind of like running than hunting. So that's why I kind of understood it. But he's still, still interested in his origin.
Right.
How they use what's that guy's
Mace Windu?
No, his boy. I mean, what's the
Dooku.
guy's
Dooku.
Dooku's Psycho Divas. What's it?
Oh, yeah. Cypher Diaz.
Right. They use like his blood.
Yeah.
Right. To get in, they just actually created him.
Right.
And he didn't even know, like they manipulated just to create this character.
Right.
And then train him to be a lightsaber, even though he didn't have force.
Right.
He wasn't force sensitive, right?
No.
Right.
But they constructed him to deal with like he had those clamps in his feet. So if they tried to use the force, he could clamp down and they couldn't push him. What I mean? So they designed him so that he wouldn't, he could deal with, just like a Mandalorian. Like the
only thing they didn't touch on him though is that when he fights you, he's able to study your moves.
Oh yeah. He's kind of like the Star Wars version of Taskmaster. Pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah. And it really makes me kind of sad because the original Sideshow, we get into the statues a little bit. The Sideshow Mythos, the original line, the next piece that was supposed to come out before Disney bought was supposed to be Grievous. Before he got his cybernetics, it was going to be Grievous.
Right.
And but anyway, now this we got to get into this because I always wanted to share this with you. Tell us about how, because we know that Blade's your favorite character. Tell us how when you first did you read Blade in the books first, or it was just the movie that got you?
I saw Blade in the book, but I didn't pay any mind to it. But then when I saw the Wesley Snipes movie, when I saw the Blade, I had to go check it out. And then I was like, let me see this character. And when I saw it, I was like, wow. I mean, like somebody actually, they made him a badass character, you know, and it was nothing corny about it. He did martial arts, you know. So once the first Blade, let me tell you something. I bought the movie on DVD and then bought it on iTunes, and I think I bought it on my phone also. You know what I'm saying? But that's how much I'm into Blade. You know, so I was immediately loved that movie, and then Blade 2 came out. And I even love Blade 3 also. I don't like certain people in the movie, but Blade is Blade. He never changed. He doesn't change. So
I saw Blade. The first time I saw Blade, the movie started at 1:00 in the morning because all the other ones were sold out. Okay. And like you said, I was like, man, and people kept saying, man, that movie is tight. And I still maintain to this day, and this includes any Star Wars movie, that is the best beginning of a movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
Easy, it ain't even close.
Yeah, the disco scene, right?
Easy.
I love that scene, man.
And it was kind of fitting that I saw it at 1:00 because like when you saw that, you could tell that this was happening like late at night in this movie. Right. Like you're talking 2, 3 in the morning.
Right.
And yeah, man, that was a special movie. And now, okay, question: which one is your favorite one out of the 3?
1 and 2. I gotta say both of them. 1 and 2.
One is still my favorite. 2 was great, but just to me, I mean, as a whole, I think 2 is better. But the intro to me,
right? The intro to Blade. Then I gotta say 1.
Yeah.
Horror effects, creatures. I gotta go with 2.
No, I hear you.
3 was just had politics. That was all about politics,
right?
You know, and you can't. It's like they made something so good that you can't erase it,
right?
Which I felt they was trying to do. They were trying to. A lot of people thought I was just talking nonsense. They was trying to bring a group with Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds, and it was called the Night Stalkers. So when you bought the DVD of 3, it had the comic book. And if you watch the end, there's only a video of the Night Stalker that they were trying to introduce because they were trying to, like, Blade goes into some sleep, and they were going to try to start movies on the Night Stalkers. And really? it didn't work. It bombed. It never got a pickup. Yeah, and Ryan Reynolds had a big gun. Him and Jessica Biel was going to be the 2 Night Stalkers, and Blade was going to be like hibernated somewhere.
Yeah,
and stuff. So that's why. And then you had then they put in Triple H was a problem. So people were saying, everybody kept saying, oh, it was his taxes, had nothing to do with his taxes. Oh, Wesley Snipes was being an A. No, he wasn't. What happened was he didn't like how he was being treated because he felt some type of way that you making Ryan Reynolds the star and Jessica Biel when he's Blade. So if I made money for Marvel 1 and 2. And then my 3rd one, you trying to depower me. You think I'm going to look at Ryan Reynolds and be happy? No,
I agree.
It just happened. I'm gonna take it out on you. I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna show you I'm not happy with this. So if Ryan Reynolds got to be, if I gotta be an a-hole to Ryan and everybody else, that's what happens. That's what happens in Hollywood.
Right. So, and people, I mean, for people, I guess younger viewers now, they will never understand that the MCU would not exist.
Right.
Marvel wouldn't exist because they were going bankrupt.
Right. Everybody kept thinking it was Iron Man. No, it started with Blade because Blade was like actually became the serious comic book movie even before my man Heath Ledger, because Heath Ledger was the serious Joker, but Blade was a serious character. He didn't go into that movie joking around. His thing was just always serious, and he was just killing vampires. Right. And you seen him do it. He chopping heads off. He wasn't playing, so it was no comical thing about it. Toward the 3rd one, bringing Triple H and everybody, that's when it got watered down. Yeah. But Blade never changed. Wesley Snipes, his acting never changed. If you really watch Part 3, it never changes. So
I remember at the time. Well, this was after it came. I think the 3rd one hadn't come out yet. I was dating this girl, and she swore she loved vampire movies. And I said, "You ever seen Blade?" She was like, "Nah, I don't like Wesley Snipes." And I said, "Look." And I made some kind of deal with it. I said, "Look, if you don't like this movie, I'll take you out to dinner or whatever." She said, "All right, cool." And I said, if you don't like it, like after the first 10 minutes, if you don't like it, we can turn it off. We never turned it off. And she's like, yeah, that was time. So I told you.
Everybody in that first one was great. And even they had what's her name that played his mom's
Sanaa Lathan.
Yeah, they had a nice cast there. And the Boosh Wright was in there.
Yeah, it sure was.
Yeah, so
it sure was.
Yeah, you got a nice cast in there. So
okay, so transitioning into pieces. When did the statue buying begin? Like, what was your first?
2001.
Okay.
You're not talking about not action figures, statues.
Well, I mean, we can do action figures first.
Action figures. I'm trying to figure out when did they come out with the action figures. I saw it in 1977. I think they came out with action figures 78, 79. So I had got the Luke Skywalker with the stupid
the lights. They all had that. Vader had one too. Yeah.
I had the Vader. Han Solo had the big head, skinny body.
Yep.
What else? But I had all those action figures, the original action figures. And my moms would never wrap the gifts. I will wake up for Christmas.
It just be stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Did you get any vehicles or like the Millennium Falcon or anything?
No, nah. Because vehicles at that time was expensive.
Okay.
Considered expensive, you know what I'm saying? My parents, I wasn't deprived, but my pops wasn't buying me at that time. I don't know if you remember, shell top Adidas was about $30.
I vaguely remember.
19 Nikes were about $12, $15.
Yeah, till Jordan came.
Right. Shell top Adidas was $30. So they wasn't, Millennium Falcon, I think that piece was maybe about $30, I think.
Yeah.
It was a big ship. So, I didn't get too many vehicles.
So when did the statue buying, like, what was your first? I always love to hear people, the first piece that reeled you in.
The first piece was 2001, and it was the Boba Fett Atticus statue.
Okay.
That's when Atticus, they were the first ones that I knew that was doing Star Wars statues. And then I found out I went to Forbidden Planet in Manhattan, and then I bought the Predator bus, the life-size Predator bus. And from there, that's when I found out about Sideshow. And then Sideshow started making Darth Maul, Princess Leia, and that's when it started. So 2001.
Okay. And clearly, the collection has grown. Epic, but I know you got an X-Men collection as well.
It's crazy.
What was your what was your first? Yeah.
Wow, first X-Men piece. I think the first X-Men piece was it was Gambit. The first Sideshow Gambit. Yeah. To this day, I got that same piece. And I don't think there is no Gambit that's better than that one.
I've heard a lot of people say that. I've seen it because Tim has it.
Right.
And I like the new one. I don't dislike that one, but I do like the new one. But
because that one has a cigarette.
Right.
Sideshow's not gonna do no Gambits with no cigarette. Toothpick, yes, but not no cigarette.
Especially with Disney.
Right. So that's a licensed piece with a cigarette.
So as times, now you got you've seen new companies come in, XM, Prime. You have any Prime One pieces or no?
Yeah, I got all my Batman is Prime One.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So when did which Batman pieces did you get? So you got those the Arkham ones.
Right. I got the Arkham, and then I got the Nightfall. It took me a while to
that
find
one. Is tight.
Right, and it's
talking about the Jean Paul Valley one.
Yes, that's a hard one to find.
I love that one.
I got that one. What else? I got the Grim Knight, the Batman Who Laughs. I got the Azrael. I got all the villains. All the villains and stuff like that. So
over the time, like now that we got all these, XM, Prime One, like what would you say is your favorite company? Like put out the best stuff to you.
I gotta go with XM.
Okay.
I would say Sideshow. The only reason why was because, of course, this is Sideshow behind me.
Right.
But it's kind of hard because then if I take away Sideshow, I won't have this. The only reason why I say XM is because XM did the Reverend Malik. XM to me is the Bowen company of this era. They'll do characters that nobody won't. If you look at anything, look at Bowen. Bowen did everything.
Yeah. Bowen did you collect any Bowens or no?
No. Okay. When Bowens was coming out, I didn't like how they looked.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising because you an old school like to me. Yeah. They look just like when the comics came out. They look just like the comics back then. You know what I mean? So
yeah. But I felt like, you know what? I felt like nobody could sculpt the essence of a comic book character that I like. And then when I saw Sideshow do it, that's when I got it. That's when I was like, all right, cool. Because Atticus was easy for them to do a Boba Fett. They did the Boba Fett. They did the Darth Maul. They did the Jabba the Hutt. So my mind was just on Star Wars after that. The superheroes would be my comic books, but the statues would be my Star Wars.
Got you.
Right.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So I know this is hard. If you could put it top 3, like in your collection, like you don't have to include the life size.
Okay.
Like what would you say is your top 3 pieces?
Damn. That is hard.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people. People don't understand how hard that question is because they're literally like your kids. You know what I mean? It's like, you know.
That is hard. See, because I got lines, Thor. I got lines, so it's hard. So it's let me see. If you ask me, I gotta say my ECC Marcus.
Okay.
With the wings.
Right.
Damn.
I mean it don't matter if it's in the collection now or that you've ever owned, you know. I mean, clearly, if you got rid of them, you probably don't feel it, you know. The ECC bar, that's a good. ECC put out some good stuff,
right?
You know. And if y'all didn't know, Rashee got a big horror collection too, you know. So he literally got everything, y'all. You know.
I'm trying to figure out, man. I gotta say once again, ECC Marcus life size bust.
That's 2 Marcuses.
Oh, okay, of course. What I'm saying, my master replica Millennium Falcon.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, now that's a hard piece to track down, y'all. Yeah. You know, if that's probably the holy grail of Star Wars, you know, collectors is that master replicas of Millennium Falcon. Now we got other, you know, people coming out with them. So do other people in your family collect or no? Or is it just you? Like anything?
It was just me.
Just you? Okay. Yeah. Now how did they feel when you started to amass this collection? Were they like, what you wasting your money on this stuff for?
No, you know what? Let me tell you something, man. When it comes to family, and this is for everybody,
right?
Everybody know your statue is some type of value. So I'm sorry to say, God forbid, because I don't see nobody pass away.
Right.
I'm talking about I'm saying in general. Your people are gonna be fighting over your collection.
You're probably right. Because I've heard
people don't know that. People gonna be fighting over your collection. When they see Star Wars, they know that especially if they know you spend if you spend over $500 for a piece, they're gonna be fighting for it. They're gonna fight for your collection. You know, because my sister, you know, she said a little joke. I didn't really like it, but she was like, you know, she's like, yeah, I would like the Star Wars, and I said, listen, I don't want to talk about no death. You know what I'm saying?
Right, they're divvying it up already.
Right, exactly. But they see that I'm a big collector, you know, and they know this stuff they know this is money. You know, it's funny how you'll have a friend to say, yeah, how much you pay for that? 100, and you like 100? It ain't cost no 100. You get a comic book for 100 nowadays, you know. So
I remember my mom used to tell some of my godmother, and they came over one time because they, you know, because I do barbecue, they want me to cook a prime rib. So let's see this collection. That's when I still had Ghost Rider.
Right.
And they, you know,
you had a lot of pieces back then too.
I did that back then, right? And then they went down there and they were laughing. Oh, let's see these toys. When they got down there, they just got silent. And they were like, man, and they got to go. How much did this cost? I said, you don't want to know. How much was it? And I think I paid $1,800 for it at the time. They said $1,800. I was like, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, go for more than that. You know, and they were like, why? You know, and so when I find that when people, I remember one time I had these dudes that come over and fix the air conditioning, And man, they said, "Oh, we be out in 15 minutes." They left in an hour because they were looking at the stuff. It was like, "Damn, I thought y'all was don't worry about that." I was, you know what I mean? So I find when people come see it, they call them toys and dolls, but when they come see it, they don't say that no more.
Nah,
you know,
they know they worth something. They know they worth something.
And like you say, with when you pass away or something, I remember hearing a story. Everybody remember Lou and Vic from Immortalized and Stone. I remember they said somebody called Lou's wife and asked, "Did she want to sell something?" It's like when he passed. I said, "That's horrible, man."
And I knew that because Lou had that Hulk, and I know, and I knew. I said to myself,
"But the Gray Hulk."
He had the green OG.
The OG, okay.
Right. I think it was the green one. I don't know if he had the gray one. He had one of them, and I just said to myself, I want to say something to her, but I just want to know. I guarantee you somebody's telling her in her ear, if you want to sell it, I'll buy it and stuff like that. Yeah. Instead of her just keeping it as memorabilia of him to remember him by, So
yeah, I've heard a lot of people. Like I remember Junior was telling us, he was talking. I ain't gonna say who it was. Another collector's got channel and everything, and he told you, said, "Junior, can you, if something happens to me, can you help my wife?" A lot of people think about like the end game, like the end game. Like what do you want to do with these things?
Yeah,
and it's crazy. A lot of people talking about, you don't think about insurance or, something happens.
I put collectibles insurance separate from my homeowner's insurance because I feel like homeowner insurance, these insurance companies, when something happened, they pay, but they try not to pay when something happens. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. But I mean, not in paying for all the collectibles from your prints to the nook and cranny and stuff, they're going to try not to pay. So that's why it's best to get collectible insurance for your other stuff. That's just my opinion.
I would highly recommend it. So now far, like off the track for a second, and what would somebody be surprised to find out about you? Like, if you got other hobbies or,
I'm an artist.
Really? I remember you telling us that on open mic.
I went to school of visual art. That's what I went to school for. That's what I went to high school for that. School of visual arts for that.
Now, do you think you got into it because of like pop culture that you wanted to like expand
comic books and the art, just comic books and sci-fi and everything else. I just was all just crazy for sci-fi and I love art. I bought art before. I got art all over my house, but I was into art all the time. I actually, a lot of people don't know is I don't even know if I told you this. I may have told you. I used to intern for Static Shock.
I remember I was about to mention that. I said, didn't you say
Milestone Media? Yeah. Milestone Media. I used to work for that company.
Oh wow.
I also did some work, a little bit of small work for Source Magazine.
Okay.
The hip hop magazine. I worked.
Really?
Yeah. I used to go up there.
You hear that, producer? Our producer did too.
Yeah.
So. That's great. So what did you like illustrate some stuff for
there's something it was like a website she was doing at the time. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
Was it was when about 90, was it 97?
Oh,
90,
wow.
Like it was like probably like a year after, because I always remember when Biggie and Tupac passed away, but that's when I did work for them and stuff like that. But because that's when I started learning how to do computer work at School of Visual Arts and stuff.
I used to get the Source a lot back when in my 20s and stuff, when I was really into music and all that stuff.
And this is when like I said, when after Biggie and Tupac passed away, hip hop was like kind of quiet.
Yeah. And
it was still people out there, but that's when I was up there working for them and stuff like that. My boy got me the little, it was just like, it was a couple of things I did for them. Gig, that was it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So far as collecting wise again, how do you, because now you go on a lot of shows and give your opinion and everything. How do you find the collecting community these days? Like, is it as opposed to when you first got into the game?
It's still, you know what it is? What they say, the game don't change, just the faces.
Yeah.
One thing I try to do And ever since you bringing me on and stuff like that, and I kind of say that because I seen people in the game get like that. I try not to be like a celebrity.
Me neither.
Let it get to my head.
Me neither.
I know you never let it get to your head and everything else, but you know my thing is you got like a lot of people who just carry that. You know,
You do.
they get a big head and they start thinking
You
that
do.
they actually a celebrity, and I'm like, please. And I always tell people, you could buy if you able to buy one piece,
Yeah.
and you spent your hard earned money on that one piece, then your collection is just as great as mine.
Yeah, that's what I used to ask people to come on open mic, and they're like, "Oh no, because y'all got all these stats." We're like, "Who cares?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "No, we can't. I can't compete." It's like, bro, we want to talk to you. We don't care about how many statues you got. And
you can have one piece because people at the end of the day, people got to pay, and I say this all the time. People got to pay mortgage. People got to live their real life and be in this hive at the same time. So if you paying rent, car notes, child support, whatever, and you able to buy one statue, then that's your grail, and your statue is great as mine.
Yeah,
your statue is great as mine. I don't feel that as big as a collection I am. I feel it the way I act. I never try to act like I'm better than nobody. I feel like I don't act like I'm the Don Juan. I got all these stats. No, I never act like that.
Because it took you a long time. I mean, you've been collecting since 01,
Right,
so it ain't like all this stuff came overnight.
Yeah, right. So I just try to tell people it don't matter if you got one statue. You got a great collection. I mean, like I was, like I said, looking behind at your collection. You had some deep Star Wars pieces of characters I was interested in. I knew nothing about, and then guess what? I started those were the ones that I liked more than the ones that I had and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I got to fix this light. That's your boy Plagueis. The light went out, so I ordered new lights. I got to fix that.
You need to get Vindicant.
I'm working on it. It's just like you said, I've been going through all this stuff.
I know.
Yeah. But I want. He's on the list. Because I've always liked that Vindicant.
If you get that piece, man, trust me, you're gonna like that piece. Just putting it together, the dock, the ship dock where it goes. You got to put all that. The way he engineered this one, I don't know who sculpted that one.
Yeah,
but the way they engineered it, I give them credit.
Yeah, every now and then he puts out like the Plagueis was one, in my opinion. He put out some
and see that's what messed up to me with the movie and the Plagueis. Snoke should have been Plagueis, and they should have. That would have had so much connection with the whole movie. So it's like, and I tried to, and nobody ever says, well, that does make a good story. He can't come back because Sidious is too powerful. So Sidious is dead. Now he's trying to resurrect himself back so he can take over. Now the Sidious is gone, and you go there from there. So now he's trying to use Kylo Ren. And they could have just, if these guys was really into the Star Wars universe, and it doesn't make any sense that the fans could come up with these analogies. And I know you can come up with these stories too. Better than what they came out with, because I don't care. J.J. Abrams came for that movie. It still, to me, was trash. The Rise of Skywalker. I wasn't a fan of that movie.
Did you like The Force Awakens? Because most people
I like The Force Awakens, but I think what people say is once The Force Awakens happened with the rest of them, it was trash. But when The Force Awakens started, the only thing they should have never did was weaken Kylo Ren. Continue making him a villain. But
that's what I didn't like.
When you read the comic books, a lot of people understand. Now, when you read the comics that Marvel put out, Captain Phasma, Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren, they gangster in the comic book.
They are.
They weak in the movie. Yeah, so
they show out it. Another plot. The main problem I had with The Force Awakens when they did that Raftar scene, when they went with those. What was it?
The Raptors.
Oh man, I hated that. Yeah. I was like, man, what is this? You know what I mean?
I know there was an introduction to introduce Han Solo and Chewie back, but like you said, they could have cut that part out. It wasn't that serious. And Finn should have been number one. I would not allow him to be looked at as a joke. He would have been a stormtrooper who's force sensitive. They sent him to kill some people, and it's two things you can do. You can make him shoot somebody, and then he felt totally wrong. He didn't feel like he was self-defense, or you could just say he's not killing nobody. I don't feel this is right, and then he just rebels, and left it like that. But don't making him a janitor and a joke, and he gets a lightsaber. He gets a lightsaber. He couldn't even control the lightsaber the way when he first got. He's getting his ass whipped throughout the movie, and then he's screaming right through the movie.
Oh my God, that was horrible.
Yeah, they made
that was horrible.
They just now homeboy that played to me Billy D. Williams in Solo. I thought he did a great job.
He did,
and a lot of people. I thought Solo was good.
I loved it. I love Solo.
I thought Solo was good, and I think Solo catches a lot of flack because the Last Jedi came out before.
Yeah,
Ron Howard stepped in, and they got rid of that director who was going to make it a comedy.
Yeah.
And the dude that played Han Solo, I thought he did a great job.
I did too.
People fail to realize he's a kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Harrison Ford that got experience.
Mm-hmm.
He's a kid. So now he's starting to gain. So now he's starting to get into his his rebel scumness, going around stealing from people and doing them dirty.
I still maintain how him and Chewie met was perfect. Like
I hated that.
You ain't like
growling.
that?
Nah.
No, I thought that was tight, man. It was like the minute they said the beast, I said that's Chewbacca. I just knew it.
No, I loved everything about that. I just hated when they was talking. He's doing that.
But see, that's the thing. If you think back to the original trilogy, ain't nobody know what Chewie was talking about but Han. So it kind of explains, how that he spoke, Wookiee language or whatever. But like how they met was like I was like that was perfect.
And I also love that they incorporated Darth Maul in the movie.
Right.
And that was Ray Park.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Ray Park. I thought that was an actor.
Yeah, that was Ray Park.
That was Ray Park. And if you saw he had the cybernetic legs.
You sure did.
So to me, they did a great job. I love Solo. Solo's still great. And it's the origin of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Because you saw the Millennium Falcon was all pretty. And now you know what it looks like now. So
right. Yeah. And the only thing I didn't like about it was the little relationship that Lando had with this robot. You know what I mean?
That was stupid. Yeah,
that was stupid.
Yeah.
But it explains some things. Like remember when in Empire when he said he told 3PO, "I need you to talk to the Falcon." Yes. And now you know why he says that. You know what I mean?
Because she's inside the
inside the Falcon. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So now and what was I gonna say? So what about Rogue One?
Love Rogue One.
Yeah.
I love Rogue One. Rogue One was gangster.
That's my third favorite movie. Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Empire, Revenge of the Sith, and Rogue One. Then after that is Jedi.
Wow.
And because it was like a part in Jedi, like in the middle where it kind of, you had a little lull in it. But I mean, I love Jedi. Don't get me wrong. That's still the best, like a space battle that I've ever seen in my life, like in any movie. Was the end of Jedi, but Rogue One felt like the old days, especially like toward the end when they start doing their space battle and everything.
Well, I figured you like Darth Vader going amok,
and that, of course, that too.
Right.
I'm getting to that, and that was fulfilling for me because for years I had to hear Rodney, "Oh man, he don't do nothing. I don't know why you like this band." And then when that came out,
right,
he was like, "All right." I said, "Yeah."
Well, I think a lot of people have been waiting for that. Well, also. I know you saw that remake fight on YouTube.
Oh yeah, with him and Kenobi.
Yes. Yeah. So to me, I mean, I think I would be a little embarrassed if I was, and I saw that, and I'll say, "Damn, they did a better. They
sure did.
They did a better scene than us."
Yeah.
So.
And I know some people, some of the OGs, no, they shouldn't. Some people's like, man, they need to put that in the movie.
Right. You saw how he used the Force and pushed Obi-Wan against the wall, and he smashed him into the wall, and he fell to the ground.
That's the only problem I got with that hallway scene. It's like when the dude near the end where he does and puts him, and he just told this. I was like, no. The way Obi-Wan hit the wall in that one is the way that dude needed to hit the wall. I was like, man, he just did this old lady bull crap. I said, no, man, this is Darth Vader, y'all. You know what I mean? But that was the only problem I had with it. It was like, but the impact, that's what I'm saying. You need that impact, Jack. And it's crazy because some of these we call, I don't know, independent or these people doing these custom Star Wars short movies.
Yeah. Like, did you see the Cad Bane one?
I don't think I ain't seen. I saw the Darth. You seen the Darth Maul one, right?
Yeah. When he went out, he hunted the Jedi. So
right, that one, and then
they got a cat. They got a Cad Bane one.
Okay, I don't think I saw that. I saw the boss. They got a Bosk one. I saw the Bosk one.
The Bosk with Boba Fett. I just bought Bosk.
I can't remember. I think it was kind of like the Predator. It reminded you of Predator. You know, the Bosk.
Yeah.
I saw that one. Yeah. You know, there's some of these YouTube Star Wars movies be on point, y'all. If y'all ain't seen them, you know.
They did Revan too. Somebody did Revan.
I saw a Revan one. I don't know. I think they did a few Revan ones.
Right.
You know.
Oh, and that's the computer one where he fought Malik.
Oh, I think I saw that. That was like I saw that one. I did see that one.
I love that one, man.
Now that you done got into the old, I think they are making a huge mistake by not making the Old Republic. Like that could be, if they did that right, that could be like the best thing that could even exceed the MCU in my opinion. You know.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to figure out why they don't dabble in it. I think maybe, believe it or not, maybe a little too violent. More than the new Star. I think that's what it is. Because when you think about the Old Republic, I think that's what it shows. It shows more violence than the original Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? These characters are a lot of Sith and they fight each other. So I think it's more violent. That's what it is. You know, and then it could be they don't own those characters. I don't know if they own those characters.
They do.
They do.
They do. Okay. And they all Star Wars, every video game, all that stuff. They own all that stuff. And but I think it's like you say. But I mean, here's the problem. A lot of that stuff in Clone Wars, a lot of that stuff was violent. Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, you doing this over here, you know.
That's what made me like Clone Wars.
Me too.
You know, I started seeing them kill. They was suffocating them. Remember, they was opening up the pods and let them die in space.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I was like, and I'll never forget. This is when I was like, "Dad, this is a dark animated series." When they did the Order 66 and the ship crashed into into the ground, and then she picked up. They counted all the helmets as a burial.
Oh yeah.
And the planet froze, and Darth Vader was there, and he found the lightsaber.
That was cold.
And at the end, you just heard him breathing, and I was like, "That is deep."
And he looked, but you know what I thought was even tight before that? The part with her and Darth Maul. And when Darth Maul figured out, he said, "Man, he was saying that's brilliant." That's and then he was like, when they finally caught him, he was like, "No, we're all gonna die," you know. That was like, I was like, Slim, this is like a real movie, you know. And so they kind of rounded that out well, in my opinion. You know,
she's my favorite Jedi now.
Ahsoka?
Yeah, she's my favorite Jedi.
What was I always ask this my hardcore Star Wars, what was your favorite duel? Like out of all the duels, and even on Clone Wars, whatever, what was your favorite?
Wow. I don't know. I guess I was my favorite out of all of them.
Out of all of, like, if you could pick one, like, what was your favorite one? I can tell you mine if you don't. Why you think mine was Yoda and the Emperor, which surprised a lot of people because that was the first time. And even when I had El Professor on here, he was like, "Dang, I never thought about that." This was the first dude before the battle started. These two Bama's was actually talking trash.
Right.
And he was like, "Man, you ain't gonna stop me." And he was like, "Slim, you're so tight. Why you leaving?" I was right. I was like, literally, I was like, these Bama's are talking trash. And I was sitting there like this. I was like, "Oh my God." And
you know what? They were the two big bosses.
And they were it's the cream. You don't get no high. And it came down to the Force. It wasn't about no sabers at the end.
That's what I loved about it. When he was using all that electricity and Yoda was taking it, and then Yoda just looked at him, and the Emperor said, "Oh," and he threw it right back at him.
Exactly.
I was like, okay.
That was my favorite.
That's when I gained more respect for Yoda out of, you know.
Yoda is the only Jedi I really could say I like, because even back from Empire, because I've always been a fan of dudes with wisdom, you know what I mean? Right, like when cats drop now. So like from a young age, I always liked Yoda, and so yeah, that's. So do you know your favorite one now or no? Or could you
Jedi?
I mean, like your favorite duel. Like, what was your favorite?
Yeah, I gotta probably say that. Now you think about it, I would have to say that one. You know, but no, it is that one. But when Darth Maul and Savage fought the Emperor,
that was cold.
that's
That
what
was
I'll
ice
say. I
cold.
gotta
Yeah.
say that's my favorite.
Okay.
I don't believe that the Emperor. I think they make the Emperor too powerful though. Cause like, come on, man, how he fighting both of these dudes and still keep that hood on his head? Come on, man.
He nice like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? The Emperor is just he nice.
Savage is a beast, and so is Maul. Going at, but then again, though, Obi-Wan fought them too.
That's true.
But that duel, I would say, the Emperor and versus Darth Maul and Savage oppress.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I remember I tell people, they were like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, you ain't never seen that." So because a lot of folks they don't watch Clone Wars. I've never seen Clone Wars. Like I always try to tell Red Cup, he doesn't like the prequels at all, and we was like, "Man, you need to watch." And he always tried to watch Clone Wars, and he just never watched it,
Right.
And so I know you got the 2 Blade statues coming in.
Oh yeah,
the PCS stuff.
Yep.
And I know I always hear you talk about retiring. Is you getting toward the end of the journey, or
because I got this. Like I said, I got a War Machine. I came in the XM War Machine, and when I tell you one of the reason why, and I was supposed to unbox it later tonight. One of the boxes that they still got at the depot.
Wow.
So one of them is when I tell you this stuff is huge. It's probably the biggest box that I got from XM. That's how big it is. So, and it was heavy. So I'm running out of space. So I'm waiting for NYC to come out with that maybe a Slave one. And the bomber, because I ordered the AT-AT, and then that'll be it for Star Wars. Like I'm already done. I got the Batwing coming from Jazz Inc.
Okay.
I ordered that, and then I'm gonna be done with Batman. Like, because I have no more room.
Right.
I'm gonna have no room, so I don't know.
Yes, that's another thing is since
and I like Money in the Bank too, man.
Money in the right. Exactly.
It's just not it's a different time of collecting Thor, man. Like it's not easy. You could put a piece things that people would go. Remember when people was looking for Star Wars pieces and stuff like that. Everything that you, me, people was looking for. Now you go on Facebook and people are selling everything.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep.
So.
Because I remember when there wasn't a lot of Star Wars stuff. And because I remember for the longest, if you go back and watch Open Mic, everybody asks, "What's your piece?" I've always wanted. I said, "Where's the Emperor? I need an Emperor." And it was only one. It was only that one sideshow when he was in the chair. And then now, some of the custom dudes that came out,
Right.
And so, because I was like, you can't have no Sith Lord collection, you ain't got no Emperor. That's like.
Well, the custom game is Star Wars is owned by the custom game, right?
I agree. I totally agree.
All this Star Wars stuff. These companies gotta know this is out there. They gotta know, and they know that. Because I saw it one time. I could have sworn Master Replicas want to come back, and I'm like, it makes no sense for you to come back unless you want to do something different. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense. It's too late. You don't let companies get that big where now you can't come. You got to come back harder now.
Yeah.
Pause, but you got to come back harder.
I see. We ran out of time, but I think it was Master Replicas. They came out with this baby Yoda with all these animatronics. They trying to charge like $80,000 for this thing, and I was like, "Ain't nobody gonna buy that." What is it? I think it's Master. It might be Master Replicas, the one of these Star Wars, and they made like a baby Yoda in the pod, and he moves and all. I was like, "Ain't nobody buying that." Not for that much money. They crazy.
Nah.
But yeah, man, unbelievable. It's been an hour already.
Wow.
And appreciate you coming on. You
are the Sith Lord, man.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Yeah, because I if y'all don't know, Rasheed running for president in 2024. And Vader ain't never want to be president. He just always wanted to be the Dark Lord of the Sith.
Guess what? Let it be known this. And I say this humbly. As I'm running for president, just like how Darth Vader was in the Death Star.
Yeah.
Darth Vader was answered to who? The Emperor.
Yeah. That's all good.
He's the Emperor.
Oh man.
He's the Emperor right there and stuff.
But yeah, but I mean, make no mistake, Vader be in the shadows watching silently. You see, so I guess. But anyway, y'all, we just ran out of time. We appreciate you watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode as much as I have. And thanks for coming on, Darth Rasheed. And we catch y'all next time.
Man, bro.
You are mine too, brother. I'm gonna come through one day. I'll be filming.
Man.
We're gonna have Sam on his Sunday, so that should be fun. We catch y'all next time on Just Ask for a Friend. Peace, y'all.